those of you who have been to a training, you're going to hear things, you know, that you've heard before, but it's okay. So this is mostly just, you know, introductory for newbies. Basically, so the first thing, you know, as distributors that we want to focus on is the steps to success. The first part of the steps to success is to sign up. You guys have all done that, and to set up your ABBV auto ship. The auto ship is super important just because you need that product. If you're working the business, you need that product on hand so you can wrap people. That's how you make your cash, and that's how, you know, you kind of get started at the beginning, you know, making your profit. And to pay for that $99 kit too, you know, because instantly you sell those 4 wraps, you can make that $100 back. That way there's never more money out of your pocket. For me, I personally have never paid out more with this business than I've actually made. We've been doing it for what, 14 months now? So there's no reason that you should be losing money if you're consistently working it. So that auto ship is super important, and so really stress that to people when you are signing them up as well. So that's the first step. You know, when they sign up, you can offer the boost packs to them if they're able to do that. If not, it's okay. They can just do the $99. So then the next step is step 2. I need to get this out. I'm like drawing a blank. Okay, wrap free. So wrap free, I think, is like so awesome that we can get free product in that first month. So when you get those 4 loyal customers in your first 30 days, you can get $120 in free product. So with that product, you can turn around, sell that. That's worth $200. If you were to get 2 boxes of wraps, you could get $200 in cash to put into your business. So that's another way, especially at the beginning, to kind of get going, you know. Getting those 4 loyal customers is super important. And then you also get the wrap rewards as well. So with those you can buy, you probably don't know what wrap rewards are. And I don't know if you do either. You guys are both really trying to. So what wrap rewards are is every time you get 2 loyal customers that you personally enroll them from now till forever, you get a wrap reward. With a wrap reward, you can buy a box of wraps for $25. So it's great because, you know, when you need wraps to put on people at parties, you know, you get that at a discounted rate, and then that's when you start making money at parties as well. So those wrap rewards are great, and especially for like others that have been in it longer too. You know, we can keep those loyal customers and get those wrap rewards. So that is step 2, and then step 3 is the guarantee. So the guarantee, you just have to do. You need to sign up the 3 loyal customers in your first 60 days, and within those 60 days, they all need to get their 4 loyal customers. They all need to wrap free. So basically, if you teach every single person that you sign up to get those 4 loyal customers, and if you can get those, you know, 3 distributors in your first 2 months, then you can have that $500 guarantee. Personally, anybody that I've known that has done that has made way more than the $500, but it's really nice to tell somebody when they first sign up, like, okay, Brooke, if you do this in the next 60 days, you're going to make at least this much money. So, like, in their head, they're able to see, you know, kind of what they can expect if they work a certain amount. The great thing right now with the bonuses that they just introduced is by doing that, these new distributors, you know, can make sure that they're getting the $500 guarantee as well as getting those bonuses, the Steps to Success bonus, and then for those who have been in it a little bit longer, can get like the diamond bonuses and all that. So, do you guys all know about the bonuses, the new ones?
The Christmas ones?
Yes, the Christmas bonuses, yeah. Okay. So those are awesome, and I mean, we have plenty of time to still, like, I mean, even just starting today, like, till the end of November, like, that's $500, like, just to complete those Steps to Success. So those are, I'm actually really excited about the bonuses. I think it'll be a good way to kind of finish out the year. So that's kind of the Steps to Success. If you ask anybody in this business what, you know, anybody that's successful in this business, what they have done, they're going to tell you the Steps to Success. Every single month, they print out a sheet, and they fill in every single box. And some months, you don't make it, and it's okay. There's been a lot of months that I didn't fill them out all the way, but it's okay. If you make that a goal, you know, and then every month you work towards that, then, you know, you're constantly working it. That's how you're going to be successful, because people under you are doing the same thing too. So, like, I remember at first I kind of was like, oh, those are like, whatever. That's not really how you do it. It's really how you do it. So I promise the steps of success are super important. So be sure to teach your distributors that as well as you start signing people and getting people under you. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about ways that you can build your business. The first is through Facebook. If you're not using Facebook, that's okay. It's a great outlet. At least for me, I've found people, I mean not found people, but I've been able to be in contact with people that I haven't seen since like elementary or junior high that have decided to join me in the business or try our products. I mean, like even Holly, like I took her pictures once and we were friends on Facebook, and that's how like we, got connected with this. So for me, it's been great because I've been able to connect with people that I wouldn't be able to any other way. One thing, we'll kind of talk a little bit about compliance while we're on the subject of Facebook. Make sure you are not posting anything about inch loss, detox, or weight loss when it comes to the wraps. We are a cosmetic company and those are medical claims, so we cannot talk about those. When it comes to the greens and the supplements, we can, just not the wraps. So just be really careful about that. If you do, somebody can turn you in to compliance and you can lose your distributorship. So I've never posted inch loss or detox or anything, and I've still been able to be successful. So I promise you can do it without posting any of that stuff. So, so one of the other ways that you can market yourself in this business is, our company calls it blitzing. Basically, it's just going out and talking to people. Sometimes it takes a lot of courage, so there's a few different ways that you can do it. You can just leave your blitz card somewhere. Does everybody know what a blitz card looks like? I think I have one, but I'm going to be embarrassed that I don't. They're in my purse, but these are blitz cards, if you haven't seen one yet. So they have them, and see, Venetia has her card, like her label on here. It has her name and her phone number and her website. I keep these in my purse all the time. Like today I had my shirt on all day, so I had to make sure I had these because if somebody asks you, I've had people ask me before and I didn't have one, and I'm like, here, let me write down my website. Like this is just easy. So if if you're kind of shy and don't want to talk to people at first, you can leave these places. Some people leave them by like the shapewear or like by cellulite cream, in bathroom stalls. You can be creative with it. Another way, I think talking to people is definitely more productive, but it doesn't have to be like this big elaborate thing. Like, I personally like to work it into a conversation. I'm not really good at just being like, hey, do you want this? Like, I need to like have a conversation going. That's just me personally, because this is like totally out of my comfort zone. But one thing that if you are going to just go up to somebody, you can say, hey, do you want a coupon? Or, and then if they ask you what it is, you just say, this is what it is, this is what it does, leave it at that and wait for them to ask you questions. If you give them too much information, it's an overload and they kind of like block it out. So let them think about it, and then if they have questions, they'll ask you. For me, I like to, when I'm talking to people, I like to ask them what they do, because most of the time they're going to ask you what you do, and you can tell them this is what you do. At that point, that's when you have to claim that this is what you do. For me, I still do hair and I still do photography a little bit, so it's like, I'm like, well, which one do I tell them about? Because I'm going to sound crazy if I tell them all three. But so now this is what I do. I still love the other things I do, but for building my business sake, this is what I do. So you have to put yourself in that position to claim that this is what you do and be proud of it. Because if you're not, people aren't going to want to join your team if they don't think that you like what you're doing too. So that's a little bit about blitzing. We could go more into detail, but if you have questions about blitzing, you can ask us after. So the next thing I want to talk about is parties. So whether you do parties or not, basically my format for parties versus one-on-one is pretty much the same, besides the fact that I might be talking to like 7 people or 1 person. I kind of use the same, I kind of go off of the same thing. And I go off of the party pad. This thing is amazing. You guys are all so lucky that we have this, because we didn't have this when we started. Ask Amy. It was awful when we started. We had like this whole big presentation we had to memorize, and was just like so in depth and boring, and so you guys are lucky that we have this. So when I do a party or if I go to a one-on-one, I like to have these clipboards. For me, this is my way of staying organized and making sure that I have everything I need if I do have a party come up. I like to laminate the product pamphlets, and then I always have a distributor form and a loyal customer form on the clipboard. And then I've also laminated party pads too, and I put them on the clipboard with them. You don't have to do it, it's just an idea. I like to have them laminated because they stay nice and they don't disappear. The party pads are about $1 a piece, which isn't awful, but if 10 people walk out with them, that can get expensive if they're not, you know, signing up as distributors or whatever. So I personally like to do it because I forget if I run out, and then I like go to do a party and I'm like, oh crap, I don't have anything. So this is my way of knowing that I have everything I need. And I think it looks nice. So I always just clip it on there. When people come in, whether we wrap them first or we talk about it first, I always give them, you know, if I wrap them first, I'll give them a clipboard after that, let them kind of be looking through it. So then when they're going, when we're going through the party pad with them, then they have this and they can follow along. People do really well with hands-on. It's also nice for them to have a clipboard. I usually include a pen too, but because people will naturally start filling out forms in their head. They don't realize it, but I'm not saying that I'm like trying to trick them, but if they have a clipboard, they're more likely going to want to like kind of just do it rather than think about it. So I'm going to go through the party pad a little bit. I'm not going to go into like super deep party pad, but I just am going to kind of tell you guys a little bit of how I do the party pad. You can also download party pad notes in our eSuite, and they're great because especially like when you're first starting out, like for me, I can just go through and talk about each page, but especially at first, it's really nice to have the notes that just tell you exactly what to say. You know, the notes are from Pam Souter. She's like the queen of the party pad, so they're really good notes to have. So basically, like when I start out a party, or if it's like a one-on-one, I'll start and kind of get like things going. Like, okay, who in here has tried a wrap, or who has a wrap on? And if people actually have wraps on, I try to like ask them like, how are you feeling? Like, are you tingling? Are you hot? Are you cold? I mean, for you guys that have wrapped people, like, you know, like everybody's so different. Like some people are like having hot flashes, and some people like are freezing, and some people tingle, some people don't. So I think it's just fun, kind of like lighten it up at first, kind of make people feel comfortable. So then I just talk about the wraps and like the areas that we can use them on. I always have a dry wrap with me so that I can show them, so that people who don't have one on can see. So I think people are like, what is this that you're going to put on me? You know, like it's weird. So it's nice for people to see, you know, and I like to give them a visual. Like you can cut it in half and like put it on your leg or your arm or whatever. At that time, I also introduced the facial. If you guys haven't tried a facial yet, you need to try them because they're amazing. I love them. And I don't think that people talk about them as much as they should, because I think, like, for me, this is something I would keep ordering. I would want to use this at least, like, a couple times a month because I love them. So this is when I introduced this, especially because that wrap can't be used, like, on your face. So I always say from the neck down, you can use that wrap, and then we have the facial for this. And so this is when I showed them this. It always makes everybody laugh because it looks funny, so it makes it kind of light. So then that's kind of when I talk about, like, okay, so you can do a wrap every 3 days. You need to drink half your body weight in ounces of water. You know, kind of give them, like, the instructions, I guess you would say. Tell them they only need to leave it on for 45 minutes. If they want to leave it on longer, they can, you know. And kind of show them, like, the different places that they can wrap and all that. Just kind of talk about how easy it is. And then I go to the next page and just kind of talk about how it tightens, tones, and firms. It helps reduce cellulite. It's a first to market product. There's nothing out there like it. You know, all the ingredients are all natural. You can kind of, for me, like when I do parties here, my mom always has like a slideshow right there with all the before and afters. But if you don't have a slideshow, you can kind of be passing around before and afters if you want, or be kind of telling about like people that you know. Like I always show them like my pictures and a few other people that I know, just because it makes it a little more personal. So you can kind of do that at that point. And then this page, this page makes me laugh just because it's like, I don't know, it's just funny. But so you can just talk about how, you know, it's more affordable than the other options like Botox and liposuction. You know, they can be really expensive. And then shapewear, I just think it's funny, but just because every time I picture it like, is it Mike Patillo that's always like, you put on the shapewear and you're really skinny and then you take it off and everything just like falls out. So this page makes me laugh. But I think it's good for people to realize too that like, you can do it at home and it's easy to do it at home. You know, like you don't have to go to a spa for this. You don't have to pay money like you would for liposuction or shapewear. I try not to talk bad about liposuction or shapewear or Botox because a lot of people have had it. So you want to kind of be careful when you talk about it just because you don't want to offend somebody that may have already tried liposuction or something like that. So the next page is where I go into more of the products. So I introduce the loyal customer program. You know, tell them they just need to order one product for 3 months in a row. Each month it can be something different. It doesn't need to be a certain dollar amount. Tell them after the 4th month, if they want to stay on auto ship, they can receive free shipping, you know, perk points, stuff like that. So make sure, especially when you guys sign loyal customers, that you tell them about those, you know, the perk points and the free shipping and stuff after the 4th month, because I don't think people realize that they actually are getting free stuff if they stay on, you know, because most people will keep ordering if they know that. So this is where I introduce more of the products. So I talk about the wrap pack first, and that's when I introduce the defining gel. You know, I'll take it out, I'll sample it, you know, pass it around, let people kind of try it. And then I talk about the skinny pack, and that's when I introduce the Fat Fighter demo. So I'll do, have you seen the Fat Fighter demo? Yeah. Oh yeah, you were at the party last week. Have you seen it yet? I'll show you. So you do the Fat Fighter demo for them. You know, I kind of do like a little exercise where like I have everybody close their eyes and we pretend that we're like going to a restaurant and eating all this food and we feel like crap after and whatever. It just kind of gives them a little visual. You don't have to do that, but and then I do the Fat Fighter and make sure that you tell them that this pack has like, it makes the Fat Fighter only $5 because it's super, like it's a really good deal, and most people when they know that will order this because this is usually the pack they want, but they're afraid to spend that much. But if they know that it's the Fat Fighter is a lot cheaper, then they most likely will. The next one is the Fit Pack. So you know, it has everything that's in the skinny pack. This is when I introduce the greens. If you want to sample the greens at the party, you can. You don't have to. It's totally up to you. I talk a little bit about the Profit. I don't usually sample the Profit. Some people do. So if you want to, you could sample the Profit too. So that's kind of the packs. After the packs, I kind of go through a few of the other products that I like. Like personally, I like the ThermoFit and the Confianza. So I usually talk about those and kind of give my personal experience with them. I don't like to go through all of the products just because people will get bored. And I think it's good to kind of keep it small at first and then you can kind of introduce them. You know, I always tell them like there's, you know, you can look on your product pamphlet and if you see anything, you know, that sparks your attention, if you have a question about it, let me know and I'm more than willing to help you. You know, answer any questions about it, just so that it kind of keeps it short and light. So at that point, we're kind of done with that part of the presentation, and we go to the distributor side. Some people are a little bit uncomfortable with talking about the distributor part at parties, just because they're like worried to give like the business presentation side of it. So if that's the case, you can kind of, you know, you can say I happen to know there's a few people in the room that are interested in being a distributor. You guys mind if I tell you a little bit about the company? If you feel like you need to. I just am always like, I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about this company. I love, you know, what I'm doing, and so I want to share it with you guys. You can kind of do it however you want. That's the great thing about this, is everything that I say, you don't have to do what I say, but these are just ideas. You know, whatever you're comfortable with, you do that. So, so basically, like, I don't go super in depth with the steps of success just because I feel like at a party situation, I feel like it's a little bit too much for people. Like if I'm talking about like the rat free and the guarantee, and so I just tell them, you know, it's $99 to sign up. I tell them about the boost packs, and I tell them that they can get free product in their first 30 days. Because a lot of people, I mean, I know like Nikki Hall, who signed me up, that's the only reason she signed up was for that free product. She's presidential now, so you never know who might sign up just for some free product, how well they'll do. So make sure you mention that. You know, and you can say, you know, our company has these awesome steps. If you complete the steps in your first 60 days, they'll guarantee that you make $500. You don't have to go super in depth. Like later, if they ask you questions, then you can kind of go a little bit more into depth. But I feel like that's kind of like over people's heads at first. So that's that. With this page, since we don't have the good bonus anymore, I like to talk about, you know, the bonuses that they have. Like, so for right now, you could talk about the bonuses that we have right now or the Christmas bonuses. You know, for me, I like to talk a lot about how the company's a debt-free company, and so they like to give us these bonuses so that we can focus on getting ourselves out of debt. Because that was why they introduced the good bonus in the first place. That's why it's called Get Out of Debt. He decided that since our company was a debt-free company, he wanted all of his distributors to be debt-free too. And for me, when we went back to conference last January and he explained that to us, I was like, that's pretty cool, like that he cares that like we're getting out of debt. It's not that like he's gonna give us a new car or, you know, like a vacation or whatever it is. You know, he wants us to use that money to spend it where we need it. You know, he wants, like, because he even said, he's like, that's great if you guys have a nice car or a brand new big house. That's awesome if you have those things. But he's like, I want you to be able to choose what you do with your money. And so for me, that was always super impressive. So I kind of like to touch on that a little bit because I feel like it gives the company a little bit more credibility. Like, I think a lot of people are more negative about that side. And so for me, like, I feel like that's something that in the last year that I've grown to love about the company. So I want other people to know it too. So that's kind of something that I'll talk about on that page. So then when we go to this page, the average monthly earnings, this is kind of where I tell my story, why I got into the company, how long I've been doing it, where I've been able to come with it. So this is kind of your turn to share your personal story. And it's okay if you're brand new and you're still a distributor. At that point, that's when you're going to say, okay, so my goal is to be Ruby. This is where I want to be. Or I want to be Diamond or Double Diamond or Ambassador, whatever it is. That's when you're going to make it personal. If you want to use somebody else's story, you can, but I think if you make it personal, people are going to connect with you a little bit more. For me, at least, the success that like the more successful times that I've had are the times that I've been more personal with people and shared my personal experiences rather than other people's. I mean, like I know, like I have some distributors that are like, oh, well, my friend, she makes this much, and that's great too, but I think it's good for you to tell people, you know, what your goal is and why you're doing it. So that's kind of, this page is kind of my favorite because I like that part. I don't like telling people how much I make, but I like giving the reality of it, of how successful you can be if you try. And so I think that's why I like this page the most, because numbers speak to people. They see these numbers, like you guys remember that thing that we went to, you guys were telling the firemen like how much I made and stuff, and they were all freaking out because they saw the numbers. Like if we would have just said, oh, well, she's doing really well, they wouldn't have cared. But so, I mean, as bad as it is, numbers really do speak to people. So this page is a really good page to touch on because people who might not be thinking about being a distributor, this will get their brain thinking because they're going to think, oh, well, I have some debt that I need to pay off. Maybe I could, because that was me. Like, I wanted to be a Ruby. I wanted to make $500 a month so that I could start paying down on debt. So that was like my, you know, for me, like I was like, oh, yeah, I see those numbers. I could do something, you know. So make sure that you kind of touch on that and make it personal. Everybody's sentimental. They'll, you know, for me, half the time I cry when I do it. So not intentional, but it just happens. So, so the next page just kind of talks about, you know, shrinking your dreams or growing your income. With this, I just kind of talk about, like, for me, like, I've been able to dream bigger in the last year. Like, we've been able to do things that I never thought we would be doing at this point. I thought we would still be paying off debt for, like, another 5 years, you know? So, for us, it's amazing. And so, I mean, when people see that, they see that, like, you've been able to change your lifestyle or, you know, say you're paying down your car or whatever it is, you know, kind of talk about that stuff. Because that's, you know, when you're talking to distributors, that's when people are going to relate to you. You know, they're going to see, you know, okay, this is why she's doing it. Well, I have a reason like that too. Maybe I should try it too, you know. So, that page. And then the last page is just the steps to success again. And then that's kind of all I really do with the parties. Depending on how you do it with wrapping, closing is the most important part of your party or your one-on-one or whatever it is. It's the one thing that I think people think is going to come a lot easier than it does. It's the thing that you have to be the most bold about. Not annoying or not pushy or, you know, you just need to ask them, do you want to be a distributor or a loyal customer? You know, and if they don't want to do either one, they'll tell you. But if you say it that way, then they're thinking, oh, okay, well I have this option or this option. You know, like, there's still going to be people that say no. But if you present it in that way, it doesn't come across pushy, but it's just giving them the opportunity to join you as either a loyal customer or a distributor. So don't be afraid to ask. People that come to a party or come to meet with you one-on-one, they're expecting to either come and spend money or expecting to be asked to buy something, or, you know, they're not going to come if they don't expect that. Like, most people know that you're trying to sell them something, or, you know, so don't be afraid to ask for it, because I think that's something that's super important. It can be hard, I know, because it's really out of my comfort zone, but I've learned to just buck it up and do it, because it works. And people, like, I think we're all super afraid of, like, offending people or hurting somebody's feelings, and the people who care about you are going to care enough about what you're doing and, you know, your life, that they're going to support you. And it's okay if they say they don't want to, like, don't take it offensive. I mean, I've had how many people tell me no? Even today I had a bunch of them. So, I mean, you're going to hear no, but it's okay, because every no is one step closer to your yes. So, that being said, one other thing kind of along those same lines is, with posting on Facebook or Instagram or whatever it is, a lot of people are afraid that they're going to bother their friends or their family. And it's I kind of think of it the same way. I feel like if it's bothering my friends that I'm posting about something that I'm passionate about and something that's important to me right now, they're probably not good enough friends, that they don't really need to be in my life. Like, it's okay if they unfriend me, I really don't mind. Like, that sounds kind of rude, but I feel like, for me, like, I have friends that are doing other companies. I would love for them to be doing what I'm doing, but they're not. But I support them, it's okay. I still, you know, watch what they're doing, wishing that they were doing what I do, but I support them because that's what they've chosen to do, and I would hope that my friends would do the same, you know. So if it bothers them, oh well. Like, this is what I'm doing, this is what's important to me in my life, and so and I feel like you kind of you have to get over yourself. Amy says it all the time. You have to get over yourself. You've got to stop worrying about what other people think and, you know, how they view you or whatever, and you just do what's true to you and, you know, what you're passionate about and what you feel like. So, anyway, do you guys have any questions? I feel like I just, like, slurred through all that. Did I miss anything, Amy? Is there anything else you wanted on there? Okay, you can stop it now.